Hey everybody, this is PD from Spinner Rack, and I'm going to do a video on Captain America, the period right before Heroes Reborn. Right, it was the last-ditch effort from Marvel's editorial. I think it was that Mark Tom DeFalco was kind of pushed out as editor-in-chief, and Mark Grunwald had taken the spot. And this was the last-ditch effort. So we had Mark Waid and Ron Garney on Cap. We had Waid and Deodato on Avengers with also Mike Ringaro. Who else was on there? Moringo. That's it. Moringo. We also had Warren Ellis and Mike Deodato on Thor. We also had Tom Falco was still writing, but the last two issues were drawn by Carlos Pacheco. And Iron Man, they were doing a Team Tony, so I can't really say that was the last effort to save it. But we're going to get into this issue, right? All right, so here it is, Captain America 445, and the issue before that, Cap, it was more of a memorial because, or this period where Cap might be, passing away. So you're going to see that, and you're going to get to see how he got into this sort of situation before that, right? So we start and we see, looks like blood and all these tech guys doing something, and you're going to see it soon as a block of ice, right? And we hear from the Black Widow. She says, "My sad duty as an Avenger to report that Captain America has succumbed to his debilitating illness." Right? So in the news report, and we see the heroes with President Clinton and the other Bucky, the Thing. Could be Rick Jones, or Rick Jones in the back, but they are. I think it's the other Bucky, right? So they take him to Arlington Cemetery, and then they say, the general is there. I don't know the actual military title. "I know no words that can express the grief and loss we as a people feel at this moment. For generations, Captain America has been our protector, our defender, our friend. I can honestly say that I look to a future without him. I'm a little bit afraid for each and every one of us. He was the best, he was the brightest, the symbol of our nation. We see the blood going, we see some cracking of that ice. They didn't really establish the ice that well, but the greatest hero this country has ever known, right? And this is Operation Rebirth. Old soldiers never die, right? Now, this would be a good startup for if they wanted to bring back Steve Rogers, put him in ice and he comes back. Because, what are we going to do here? It's Captain America. You don't really shut them down, and they're timeless characters, right? It's Captain America, and this is similar, not exactly similar, because there's no blood, something or another, and ice. He kind of melted, and the Avengers found him right before he, drowned or anything like that. And he's in suspended animation, right? So he's wondering where he was, about to slip into death, and he said, "Where is he?" And goes and sees the shield, and it seems different, a new heft to it. Forget about that. And then he hears a female voice talking to him, and it sounds pretty ticked off. And you see a picture of his mother, you see Bucky, who he tried to save, and then we see Sharon. She said, "I saw you die." She says the person says on videotape. And we find out it is Sharon, right? And Cap is surprised to see her, and she's like, hands off, right? And you realize that, tell him what happened. We see Cap in his armor, that he was near death because the super soldier serum had gone away, had died out in the system, but he was quickly dying. So they froze him, and then they were doing this radical treatment, right? And how radical? It's a total marrow transplant, total fluid transfusion of blood and marrow work. He said, he's like, how much, how much of me is still a super soldier? Let's find out, right? And Cap throws a shield, and it's wrong. It wasn't the shield's not heavy. It's me, right? And you see Cap is not there, right? So this process they reacted a little soon before bringing it back, right? But they said, "Okay, get over it. We got work to do." Right? So Cap is like, "Wait a second now. Normal blood means normal man. I'm not." He's like, now Cap is realizing that, all right, if he's gotten this transfusion total blood, like now you know, he's human. What, it's not going to be the same. And he wants to know who the benefactor is, but they don't really have time for that, right? The mission is all that counts, right? And so they go and they get to the Green Bay enemy compound, and your mystery man is, all right. So then they start fighting again. So you did back there. He said, "I'm fine. Thanks for asking." Right? And then some more people come up. Cap throws a shield. He takes out three of them quickly. Doesn't it? But now he's realizing his power, his strength is coming back. And that's when he realizes that how could they get him back to square one if it wasn't a transfusion from the skull? Right? He said, "Oh, hello, skull." He said, "Very good, Herr Rogers. I begin to think you'd never catch on. How does it feel to discover you owe your life to men you've hated for half a century like this?" And Cap still isn't up to snuff yet. So now, but Cap is in his debt. Right? They got to destroy this compound before they have a chance to what? And Cap is like, "No, this is ridiculous." They say, "No, this is a very fight you were born to fight." And this is going back to the battle he fought on the cover of the first issue of Captain America. So the writing in this is pretty solid, and kind of like giving you something that kind of Stan would do, adding the grandeur to it, right? But it also knows it's going to connect to World War II, right? And we see this complex. And say, "Open your eyes. It's a whole new reality, Captain. The new fatherland. Welcome to World War III." So the new Reich is coming, right? So let's get on to it. The next issue is the wackiest team up ever. It's Cap, Skrull, and a pretty upset Sharon Rogers. I said Sharon Rogers. Sharon Carter, right? So they're going out there and they go to this complex as a team, right? And it's a super tech, it's like a fortress, right? For this new Reich. So they're like, and it basically has AIM people in there. And they mentioned to Cap the Cosmic Cube. And he said, "Uh-oh," he knows that there's a little more to this story, right? And through the cube, they're going to have the Fuhrer rise again, right? And he said, the cube can't revive the dead. It doesn't have to. It was alive. And he's in the cube. Wow. And it's like, what? Now Cap is like, "This is ridiculous." And he said, "Nope." Cap, the Hitler was the hate monger, and he double crossed the Skrull. So Skrull then tricked him and put him into the cube, and then the cube cult came and stole it back. Using AIM technology, and they sent off. Is this a Cap and him fight? It looks like it is. And then they're gonna have a world where the Nazis rule, and Cap is surprised that the Skrull doesn't want that, and he said, "Well, this, obviously since the hate monger double crossed him, Hitler's gonna want some payback, right?" So since Cap is in his debt, he has to go out and fight. He forgets his doubts and he goes and fights this new Reich, right? So if you're out there wanting to see Cap take on some Nazis, not just Hydra agents, you got it right here, right? And at the same time, Cap is doing the dirty work. The Red Skull's going right for the cube. Cap isn't allowing him, but he also has to get his shield back. And Sharon's almost got it, but the right is there. And they keep moving. And they leave a bomb in their exit, right? Sorry. I got to keep the notifications on because I got work. Could be calling for me for something important, potent. Right. So let's keep this going. See them getting away, right? And he tells Skull to stop worrying about his lust for the cube, right? And Sharon's over there getting information out of this guy. And she was known as Fraulein Rogers. And he's like, what? Oh, no. She's trying to mess. She used it. And Cap isn't happy about it. I take my shots where I can. All right. And Cap finally wants his information. While Skull's got his gun. Like, tells her what happened. She'll jumped on the top secret thing, and she was on these secret missions, doing this secret and terrible life. When he ran into Skull, talking about this cube cult and this agenda, right? We got to get this information out, right? He said, with the cube, we could probably try to put the life back together, right? She said, who wants it? Who says I want it back, right? And she's thinking about it more of going out in a blaze of glory. She doesn't think they can actually do it. But Cap, of course, is different. So we got the three of them together. And while Cap walks out just to try to make sense of it, the Skull comes out and starts shooting Americans. Man, and then they think this is a fake Cap, right? So Skull's about to kill, and Cap is not with it. So it's Cap. The whole plan was they had to break in, so Cap is just like, well, I gotta go with it. And then General Chapman is like, hey, I get it. You're a Cap, but I can't let you go in there. Right? And Cap, and he's like, you knowing Cap, he knows that Cap won't do it. And Cap, of course, at this point, the odds are against him, so he has to go move forward. Right? And we see the cube kind of being used the same way it was used in the movie where they put it into this machine to utilize it, right? Cap is going in there. They take out the cube code, but then there's more. Cap goes in there, and the ship is gone, but Sharon's going with it, right? This thing is heating up, right? So Cap and Skull stuck together, and they're facing this cube cult. They find out that the cube is also stolen by Sharon, right? So we must destroy the cube. We must kill Hitler. We must exterminate them. And Cap doesn't think they're gonna live with all these guys, so they're just trying to survive, right? So they are like, this is a buddy movie that's gone left, right? So, um, So Cap is trying to work with Skull, but Skull always has another plan, right? But as he escapes, he gets caught by this cult, right? The New Reich, and they're not happy with this traitor. The same like the Americans don't like Cap working with the Skull. The Skull, these Q cult doesn't like Skull working with the Captain America. So they're about to kill Skull, and Cap comes in there to save him, right? And this might have been the, I don't know, it might still have to be the post. It might have to be the post for this. This is a really nice image, right? Cap is finally up to snuff. He saves the Skull, so now we're even, right? Cap is going in trying to find Sharon, and she's found Sharon, and she has the cube, and she's like, "Get back," right? She's thinking about what she can change, but then she falls. So she's fighting, not, thinking that she has to remake the world in her image, and realize that the Cap should be the one, but Skull is following after them, right? And since Cap is on high moral ground, takes the cube, he has absolute power. He can turn his girl back to the way she was, and he's decided. But at the same time, Skull's there. He uses it on them, and didn't do it fast enough, and he loses the cube to the Skull. Cap jumps down and stops him. Right? Destroys the cube, and then runs into Bucky Barnes. We realize Cap is now stuck in the cube, the like Hitler, right? So this is a wacky cover, but we're gonna keep going. The conclusion, right? And we see Cap's origin. Cap isn't as big as he was when he was a stick figure in Kirby's early issues, and now we have a Cap where he can just become a bodybuilder, steroids or super soldier serum, sorry, and then he runs into Bucky, and Cap is really happy to be here. They got him in there, trapped, and this new cult. And they can't actually use the cube right now, right? For some reason, in addition to, wow, and Cap is in there, and he's gonna be driven. He's because he's driven to stop Hitler. The Skull can't use the cosmic cube, so they're still on the run from this cult, right? So Cap is trying to find Hitler. And things are just shifting, right? And he doesn't know why, right? He gets to see his mother, and mother's so proud of him. And Skull's found a gun and weapons thing, so he's like, "Oh, I can use this against these guys." Right? And then Cap is still on the move with Bucky and is having the time of his life. Right? And he's back where Bucky almost died. Right? But this time he's tied to it. Captain America stops it, redirects the plane, going to Berlin. Closer. Cap will finish his mission, and she tries to stop him, but next thing you know, there's not much Sharon can do against someone as as skilled as Captain America. As Skull has all his abilities, right? And then we see the Fury, the Invaders, all of the best hits. Oh, sorry guys, you had to see that, right? So then, as we go along, and they know where Hitler is. They're right in front of his bunker. And Bucky says, "Just wrong. What are you talking about? They bring in the Justice League. Nope, this isn't real." Right? Somewhere in there, Bucky somehow helped him, whether it be a memory or a spirit. Someone somehow it reminds Cap of what he's supposed to do. So he goes to the door and he breaks out. And it's actually breaking himself from the cube, and he takes apart the skull and he says, "Tell me there's a way that I won't kill you." Right? He sees the cube, and then Skull runs for it, but Cap is not allowing him to do that. Chops off his arm, and then at the same time, the shield hits the cube and it explodes. Well, what? It's over. So this is a mix of, this isn't full on Jeff Loeb type of writing, because I think Jeff Loeb did kind of the best kind of 90s superhero writing, whereas not best for me, but he did very sparse sort of um, things with plots. He found ways to kind of lessen as much dialogue and definitely no captions. But Waid kind of goes between both, one or the other. He does the scenes where you get all the information type of thing. He does the thing where he doesn't kill the splash pages with a lot of dialogue. But Kirby kind of used those pages to kind of freeze. This was a good place to freeze. But at the same time, Waid is kind of going with the way the 90s people would be like, you just pass this page. If you want to look at it, you just do that on your own, right? So they have solved everything. So Sharon is kind of, Cap is kind of been going through all this stuff because it wasn't the best feeling of seeing Bucky again. And everything is kind of fixed outside of the American troops are kind of not been killed. They're okay. And Sharon still questions everything. And Cap is about to get out of here. And asks her to come on. He said, "What do you mean, come on?" And he's like, "Fine, your call. I'm headed to S.H.I.E.L.D. Find out why they kept your fate a secret from me all this time. I figured you want to know. I guess not. See you around. Send me a postcard sometime." I said, "All right." So I want answers. I want to know who kept us apart. Not that I care, I'm just curious. And the moment I haven't answered, I'm gone. Got it. All right. So they have their little bit of moment, and it's a powerful sort of story, right? And I've pointed out to you guys that though this was, I think, a a three-story run is well remembered. It would be eclipsed by I think it's seven issue Captain America run that Rob Liefeld had, which would bring, I guess, well, not the $1 million sales of Captain America #1 that Simon and Kirby did, but they had some decent sales for the short term, so it was short money, and I don't think it was big enough for Marvel, so they kind of dissolved that connection. So I guess that's it. We'll be back with more, definitely more Cap. Spinnerack out.